Hello, everybody. This is your host for Tiffany's Community Spotlight at Home and Cooking with Tiffany, Tiffany DuBois-Morales. Now, I am coming to you from our kitchen, obviously, and it's a little rainy outside. So I'm going to create a new soup for all of your viewing pleasure. So for today, we are going to be doing a Tiffany version of a Chinese classic, sweet and sour soup. We're going to incorporate pork tenderloin that I'm going to marinate in a dry rub, infuse our bone broth with dried portobello mushrooms, and incorporate a ton of fresh herbs and various ingredients, including the very non-traditional grape tomatoes and potatoes and everything else. So sit back, relax, and we will be back. All right, everybody, we are back. Now, since the intro, I have gone ahead and sliced up a couple of our ingredients, including our fennel, carrots, celery, portobello mushrooms, herbs, scallions, garlic, and Fresno hot pepper. So what we're going to do now is do the dry rub for the pork tenderloin, and then we'll get started on the soup base, which, in case of seasoning your protein, I always season very aggressively. So before I forget, I'd like to thank all of the guys over at Gianta's Prime Shop for always having amazing quality meats available for purchase. Today I went and picked up this beautiful pork tenderloin, which always comes out really, really well. My exclusive spice purveyors, the Head Nut, also at Reading Terminal Market, for always having a fantastic selection of spices for all of my dishes. So we're just going to get going with black peppercorn, our Thai spice, our ground ginger, a little cedar plank because I want a little bit of smokiness, as well as, the sweet and the sour that you get in your sauce, along with our nutmeg, cinnamon. Not labeled on here is the extra harissa that we have. Gone ahead and added our regular parsley, dried rosemary, oregano, and our black and white sesame seeds. Now, you would think that this isn't necessarily like a traditional spice rub or anything for this pork. You would be correct, but I like experimenting, so we are just going to go and add in our spices. Now, a trick that I learned a long time ago was to go and really press down on your protein so that you can get a good coating of spices on, the one layer. So you want to really go ahead and ensure that your protein, whatever it is properly spiced. Now, right now, our pork is in the dried spices. There's no need to add any kind of fat unless you are doing a dry and a wet, marinade, which you would do sometimes depending on like how saucy you want your dish and everything else. But we will be back. All right, everybody, welcome back. So, as I mentioned before, our pork tenderloin is doing its dry rub marinade, and the first thing that we are going to do at this point now is get our soup base going. So, also courtesy of the Head Nut is one of my favorite bone broths that I like to purchase. So they have this. The clear thing in here is simple syrup because it's sweet and sour, and simple syrup is nothing but equal parts of water and sugar. So you won't have to worry about, oh, how many cups of sugar should I add to my soup base? Yeah, already done for you. Our rice vinegar, our soy sauce, and then we also have a new product that I picked up at Whole Foods Market, mother-in-law's gojugaru Korean chili flakes, which if you don't have chili oil, then those are a fantastic alternative for you. Now, we are going to go ahead and add in our bone broth, which in this case we incorporated, chicken into this particular one instead of beef, because I want this to be a light but still flavorful soup. We are going to go and measure just a small amount of simple syrup. It's probably a little less than a half teaspoon or a teaspoon. As everybody knows, rice vinegar and just vinegar in general, no calories. So we're gonna just add in a whole bunch. Soy sauce. This is not me free pouring that badly, but I measured ahead of time 5 tablespoons. So we're gonna do our chili flakes, which I would guesstimate that this is gonna add up to 1 tablespoon, and then this is 1 full ounce of dried porcini mushrooms that we are just going to go and incorporate into our soup base. And then finally, we're going to throw in our sliced garlic and Fresno hot peppers as well, because you want a good balance of sweet, sour, and my particular favorite thing, spice, or in this case, heat. So we are just going to let this come up to a little boil, and then we'll add in our vegetables, and then, we'll be back. All right, everybody, we are back. Now, it's been a couple of minutes, but our soup base is boiling along. Our mushrooms are getting, sufficiently rehydrated, and more importantly, everything is ready to go. Now, potatoes are not traditional in sweet and sour soup. So this is me taking extremely creative license with our ingredients. So we're gonna add these bad boys in to cook until they are really nicely tender, followed by also non-traditional fennel and grape tomatoes, some more mushrooms, along with our celery and carrots. I'm going to season this with the same dry rub that we used on our pork tenderloin, and then we're going to add in a couple more cups of water because I want this to be a very hearty soup that covers, well, all of this. I wish you guys could smell how awesome this is right now. But like I said, we're going to add in a little more water and then we will be back. All right, everybody, we are back. So we are going to go ahead and check on our soup. Oh, God, this smells so good. Now, if you decide that you want this to be a very strictly vegetarian base, you don't need to include the pork tenderloin, and you can just, allow this to kind of cook down to, your desired doneness. I want this to be a very warm and comforting soup, so we're going to let this kind of bubble along for a solid, 20 minutes before we add in our snap peas and our pork tenderloin, which before we add in the pork tenderloin, this baby needs to get sliced. So we are going to go from one end and hopefully we'll just have, nice simple slices, some nice pieces that'll get incorporated into the soup. If you don't want them as slices and you prefer them as chunks, you can do that as well. This is just my preference to have them sliced, and then we'll slice them some more when we're consuming the dish. But so we will be back. All right, everybody, we are back. So it has been 20 minutes since we have gone and started cooking down our items. Carrots are, still were a little hard, but time to check on our stock. Oh, it tastes even better now than when I had done an initial check. Now, sweet and sour soup, generally you want to get the sweet right in the front when you're first tasting it, and then the sour in the back. But in this case, because I've added in, garlic as well as Fresno hot peppers and everything else, there's a little bit of smokiness and spice being incorporated in our dish. We're going to go ahead, add in our snap peas, stir, and then we are going to throw in our pork tenderloin slices. So now, pork tenderloin is a very lean meat, so just remember that this is going to cook actually pretty quickly at this point. So we are just going to submerge the pork in. Cooking it this way is going to just keep it nice and tender. And this will be ready probably in the next, we'll say 10 to 15 minutes. Since we don't need to worry about rendering anything, and we're just gonna go ahead and cook. But we'll check this in another, I'll say 15 minutes, and then we should pretty much be done. All right, everybody, we are back. So I have gone ahead and finished cooking our pork tenderloin along with our snap peas. Potatoes are, beautifully tender and cooked, as are the carrots. And at this point, we are at the end of our video. I want to take a moment once again to thank everybody at the Head Nut, Iovine Brothers, and Yanta's Prime Shop at Reading Terminal Market for always having my spectacular selection of spices, produce, and quality meats. The staff over at our local Whole Foods Market, once again, for our sliced garlic along with our dried chili flakes that we incorporated into our soup. And as always, please do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe Cooking with Tiffany on YouTube and on any social media channels that you encounter me on. I am your host for Cooking with Tiffany, Tiffany DuBois-Morales. Bye.